Hello friends, today I'm going to solve LeetCode problem number 1456, maximum number of vowels in a substring of given length. Okay, so we are given a string s and we are also given an integer k, okay? And we need to return the maximum number of vowels in any substring of the string s which is of length k. All right, so let's look at this example here. Before that, let's see what are vowels. So vowels are English alphabets which are a, e, I, o, u. Okay, let's also look at the constraints. The constraint says that the length of the string is at least 1 and maximum of 10 to the power 5. Also, as only consists of lowercase English letters, and the length of k is from 1 and maximum length is the length of the string. All right, now let's look at this example here. So we have the value of k which is equals to 3. All right, so what we need is we need to return the maximum number of vowels in the substring of s which is of length k. All right, so we need we are going to check for substring of length 3. So let's just write it down here so that we could visualize it properly. Okay, so we need a substring of length 3, right? So what are we going to do is we are going to take a length of 3. Okay, so these forms one substring, right? ABC. So how many starting from index 0, 1, 2. All right, so how many vowels are there in this substring where there are only one vowel, right? Only A is a vowel and B and C are not vowels. So we got the substring would be BCI, right? So what we do is we are just shifting our the array, the substring, right? It was 0, it was starting from 0, ended at 2. Now it's starting from 1, ending at 3. Okay, so this is 1 and this is 3. So what did we do? We just removed this string, the character a from our substring, and we added a character I to our substring, right? So B and C are the same, we just added I, removed A. Okay, so what are we going to do here is now count our number of vowels. So since we removed a vowel, we are going to subtract a -1. We are going to take the previous value, subtract a -1 from it, and then since we are adding a vowel itself, so we then add a 1. So our result is still equals to 1. Now we shift it again. Now we are starting from 2 and it ends at 3. So starting from 2 means we are taking the character C, I, and now we are removing the character B because initially it was starting from 1. So we remove B and we add a new character which is I, which is again a vowel. So what are we doing is we take the previous one, which is previous number of count, which is 1, and then since we removed B, which was not a vowel, right? So we don't subtract anything because we have not lost any vowel. Instead, we are gaining one vowel in our substring now. So we just add a 1, which is equals to 2. So far, the maximum number of vowels we got is equals to 2, right? So we keep track of that. Now, next what we do is we shift to 3 and then 5. Okay, so 3 is starting at I, and all right, so we now have 2 I's, and now we are removing a C from it and then adding an I from to it. Okay, so that would mean that we are not losing any vowels, rather we are adding a vowel, right? So we take the initial count, the previous count, and to that count we are adding +1, so the count now becomes equals to 3. Okay, so now our maximum number of vowels is equals to 3. Now in the next step, what are we going to do is we are starting from 4 and ending at 6. Okay, so 4 would mean that we are starting from this index, right? Okay, let me just write down the index 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, so 4 means we are starting from here and 6 means we are ending at t. So while we're starting from index 4, initially we started from index 3, right? So we are actually losing a vowel, right? So what we do is, from our previous count of the vowels, we subtract -1, and then we are now here adding a new character, but the new character at our position index 6 is not a vowel, so we just don't do anything. So our number of counts for vowel is now decreased. In the next step, we start from the next index, which is 5, and which ends at 7. So at index 5 we are starting at index I, right? So we are basically losing like, what is it, a vowel, right, which was at index 4, and we are adding a new vowel which is at index 7. So here also we are going to do the same, take the previous number of values. Since we lost a vowel, we do a -1, and we gained a vowel, so we do a +1 now, which is still equals to 2. And then again, we are going to shift our substring, and now it ends at 8. Okay, so it's starting at 6, which is D. So here we lost a vowel, right? And then we are adding a character which is not a vowel. So what we do is, from the previous count we subtract a 1, so we would get a value of 1. So among all of these values, which is the highest value? So the highest number of count of vowels is equals to 3, right, which is between 3 to 5. So from index 3 to 5 we got the highest number of count of our vowels. So this is how we are going to solve our number of vowels count problem. So what we are going to need here is, we need to keep track of, so we are going to take a substring, and each time we are shifting our substring, right? So we shift one index, and every time we are shifting we check if we lost a vowel or not, and if we gained a vowel or not. If we lost, we are going to subtract from the previous count, and if we gained a vowel, we are going to add to the previous count of vowel. So every time we are tracking the local number of count of for vowels in that substring, and then we are maintaining a global count of maximum number of vowels for that substring. All right, so let's now write our code. And also, yeah, we need to know the vowels, right? So we are going to create a set of vowels, so that we could just check if a given string character is a vowel or not in O of 1 time complexity. Okay, so A, E, I, O, and U are vowels, right? Alright, so now we have a vowel. We need a max vowel count, so let it be 0 now. Now let vowels x equals to 0 b represent the local number of represent the number of vowels in the given substring. Okay, now let us start our iteration through our string. So let I equals to 0, I is less than the length of the string, I plus plus. All right, so what we need is, we need to create a substring, right? This length of the substring should be equals to the value of k. Okay, so for that, to identify the length, to define the length, we need the start and the end, right? So if we have the start and end of a given substring, we could compare, we could know, right, if it is of length k or not by taking the difference between the end and the start, right? So that is why we are going to create a new variable that is start, and initially start would be equals to 0, And so now in this for loop, what are we going to do is we are going to check if we are exceeding the length of the substring, right? So if start I minus start plus 1 would give us the length, if that is greater than, well, basically that is greater than the value of k, then what are we going to do is we are going to remove a character from start, right? So what we do is we remove the character from start, and why we are removing, we are checking if the character is a vowel or not. If it is a vowel, then we need to reduce the number of vowels, right? So we check if vowels set has the character at our start index. If it has, then we reduce the number of vowels, and then we are increasing our start pointer, right? Now here, what are we doing in our for loop is every time we are adding a value. So since we are adding a value, what we do is to add a value, we check if the new character added is a vowel or not, and if it is a vowel, then we increase the number of vowels count, and then we also check update our max vowels count. All right, so what we do is if it is a vowel, then we check vowels set has. So if the vowel set has our current character at index I, then we are just going to update vowels count and max vowels count. Okay, max vowels equals to math dot max of max vowels and vowels. All right, so now we have updated our vowels count, and then we also updated our max vowels count. Cool. So what are we doing is we are creating a substring of length k, and then once the substring is of length k, we check like after that we are just shifting it. So while we are shifting, we need to remove a character from our start. Before removing, we check if it's a vowel or not. If it's a vowel, then we need to reduce the number of vowel count because we are removing that character, right? So we reduce that vowel count, and then our start is shifted, and then now we are also adding a new character, right? So we need to check if the new character added is a vowel or not. If it is a vowel, then we add the number of vowels count, and then we also update our max vowels count. And we only need to update our max vowels count when the number of vowels increases, because max vowel is the number of maximum vowels, right? So that will only be affected only when the vowel is increased. Well, it is decreased, it just reduces the number of vowels count, so it doesn't make any change. So now we are going to return our max vowels count here, right? So now let's try to run our code and check if it works. Awesome, it's working well. Let's try to submit this. Great. So now let's talk about the time complexity and the space complexity. Since we are creating a set of vowels, but this set is only of constant length, right? There are only 5 characters. This length is never going to increase, so it is a constant space complexity. Also, we are using a for loop here, right? So for loop depends on the length of the string s. So that is why the for loop would take O of n time complexity. So our time complexity of this overall solution is O of n, and space complexity is constant. Hope you like my solution. Let me know in the comments down below, and please don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more LeetCode Daily challenge problems solution. Thank you.